Hello, I'm Grant from Maker's Vlog, and hope you enjoyed the little April Fool's joke I did yesterday. If you didn't know it was an April Fool's joke, well, there's no helping you. I know it might have been hard for you to notice, but actually how I powered these it actually was a battery. Who knew? No, but this video is actually as a sort of thank you. There's a channel, Boomerang TKO. I think if I've said that wrong, I'll put it there. But a link to his channel will be in the description. And he did my first sort of shout out, if you want to put it that way. He's seen a post that I put on Reddit about the channel, and he promoted it in one of his videos, which was very good of him. But he commented on one of my last videos about quantum computing, and he said, first you're showing us how to make illegal devices, I'm assuming in reference to the jamming video. Then you're showing us how to break the internet. What's next? Photosynthesis to rob a bank. And I didn't want to disappoint, so I've had a thought about it. And I mean, I've researched vigorously for at least 5 minutes to see if I could find anything with plants and crime. I didn't really. I found a couple of cases where some criminals were caught because of plants. One of the most notable ones I seen was there was a body found buried out in a forest or something, and they worked out there was a certain type of nettle, and that nettle had been trampled, and whenever it gets trampled it grows in a very specific way, and a botanist was able to work out from the way that it had grown when it was trampled, and from that they were able to place, okay, well, this person was there at that time, and that's how they caught them. So I thought that was quite interesting. As far as using plants to rob a bank, I mean, unless you have a Triffid or like an Audrey 2 on hand, and I mean, Audrey 2 doesn't exist. Feed me! Yeah, in a minute. Unless you have one of them on hand, probably not going to be able to break into a bank. Although I did think if you had a hell of a lot of time on your hands and you planted, say, like a tree or a few trees outside of said bank, if you knew their vault was maybe under the ground somewhere in that area, and you had a lot of time to wait. I mean, trees' roots go through fucking everything with enough time. They're just, it's like waves hitting a mountain. It's just eventually the waves will win. Same with the roots. So you could probably do that, and depending on how much maintenance they do on the bank, might weaken it enough that you could break in and then grab the stuff and go. But while I was looking into this, I actually found something really fucking interesting about plants, and now you're going to hear about it. It was actually about a certain type of fungus and another plant. They didn't specify the name of the other plant. It could be any, but there was this fungus that actually shares like a nutrients network with the plants around it. I quite like growing things, so I don't know if you know, there are some plants that give off some chemicals and nutrients as a byproduct just of them growing their waste, essentially, and other plants would feed off it and potentially give something that plant would eat as waste. And these plants and funguses have this sort of symbiotic relationship going on. But the interesting thing was, if one of the plants has a defect where it's actually not producing the byproduct that the fungus needs, the fungus cuts it off. It stops supplying it nutrients. And now I thought at first, okay, well, is it just maybe that fungus doesn't get the nutrients it needs, so it's not doing the process? But it did specifically stated that there was other plants in the area and the fungus was still supplying them with the nutrients. Just not this single plant that wasn't supplying anything. It had cut it off the supply network. I thought that was fucking amazing. Plants are so much more complex than what you would think. But I thought that was an interesting tidbit. So you might not be able to rob a bank with them, but they can cut you off. Feed me, Carbon! Feed me! Yeah, I'm coming.